we're talking about, in this quick 20-minute session, we're talking about personal and org insights. To demystify this title a little bit, this is about My Analytics and workplace analytics. How many of you guys are using My Analytics? Anybody? A little bit? Okay. So we'll talk about both of those products, really quick session, but we can always talk afterwards. My name's Peter. I'm the product marketing manager for My Analytics. So there are three takeaways. The first is it's about My Analytics. My Analytics is all about helping your users build healthier work habits. Workplace analytics is about identifying organizational level patterns of success that you can then replicate and train people, coach people using My Analytics. So they work better together. Succeed with integrated analytics, and there's a three-step process that our customers usually succeed with. Pretty straightforward: diagnose, change, measure. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you guys a little context on both products, but most of this is I'm just going to be demoing the products, showing you guys what they look like. First, really quick, let's just talk about like the overall vision for analytics and Microsoft 365. What we're trying to do is help you guys build a data culture. There's a clear association between having a data strategy and operating income. But the challenge is that most of us, we're sitting on treasure troves of data, but only a 0.5 percentage point of that is used. For those of you who are using Office 365, you're generating a massive quantity of data that we want to help you use to make your organization run better. So there are four pillars of our analytics vision. The first is driving individual productivity. That's really the My Analytics pillar. We're helping your individual users get in control of their time. The second pillar is diagnosing productivity blockers. That's really where workplace analytics comes into play. And the third and the fourth are all about Power BI, Excel, Teams, putting your people in the driver's seat, letting them use all of the data, democratizing data at your company. Today we're talking about the first two of these pillars, My Analytics, Workplace. These are both important because of the challenge of the knowledge worker. So knowledge workers are now one of the most important parts of our economy. The challenge is you can't invest in capital improvement projects to boost their productivity. It's a little bit fuzzier to figure out ways to make them more efficient and more effective in their jobs, simply due to the non-routine cognitive nature of their job. And that's where the Microsoft Graph comes into play. So you're sitting on top, if you're using the cloud, you're generating massive amounts of data about how your company works, and that can be used to boost the productivity of your employees. So now let's dive into how that actually happens. So My Analytics is all about building healthier work habits. Let me explain what I mean by that. So sometimes the way that we work is kind of like eating junk food. So we send out emails, we sit in back-to-back meetings, and a lot of the stuff that we do is quick and easy in the short term, but like junk food, it kind of leaves us feeling depleted. It lacks nutritional content, so to speak. So a couple examples of that. Scheduling super long meetings where you just expand your content to fill the time rather than condensing them, preparing an agenda. It's a simple one. Second is multitasking in meetings when you should be paying attention. I think we're all guilty of that one. Third is responding to emails as soon as you get them, rather than, emails are a big distractor, and it actually takes a while to refocus after you open even one email. Working in short spurts between meetings, this comes back to the focus time concept. Working on non-urgent tasks after hours. The problem here is that you might make other people feel responsible for sending emails after hours when they should be, having family time. Creating bottlenecks by failing to kind of cut through the clutter and respond to your important contacts quickly when they require your approval. And then lastly, maintaining kind of a small insular network. So anybody out there that does all 7 of these? All right, handful. It's hard to get on top of all of these, but just like I'm wearing a Fitbit right now, I'm trying to get on top of my physical fitness. The idea with My Analytics is to help you get on top of these unhealthy work habits. Here's the big picture. Based on the research we've done with Forrester, Gallup, McKinsey, academic institutions, people think that a lot of their time at work, especially meeting time, is super unproductive. We also spend a lot of our time managing email, which isn't a bad thing. We have to send emails to get our job done. The problem is it distracts us. It takes 16 minutes to refocus. So for a temporary period of time, our creativity and our ability to get stuff done fast is diminished. And then there's a crisis of engagement. Worldwide, only 13% of people are engaged with their jobs. So to think about addressing these issues, here's a quick framework. So this is how My Analytics addresses some of these challenges. It's personal coaching using analytics and intelligence built into the product. There are 3 parts of it. There's a dashboard, an Outlook add-in, and a weekly email digest that kind of keeps you up to date on your bad habits. It's totally personal, so as I go through the demo, just keep in mind it's not a Big Brother tool. Your manager can't see your data. It's like a fitness tracker. It's just for you. So let's jump to the demo. The demo is about Megan. She's a product manager, and she's got a lot of typical knowledge worker challenges. She doesn't get any focus time, so she can't get into a flow state and really get her most creative work done. She causes bottlenecks on her team because she just doesn't respond to them with approvals on time, and she has really bad work-life balance. So let me jump into a demo environment. Hold on one sec. Okay. So, like I said, my analytics is built into Outlook. So this is Megan's Outlook inbox. Like a lot of us, she kind of lives in Outlook. If I open this email from Isaiah, what you'll see is that we're letting her know that she has open to-dos for Isaiah. So let's go ahead and click that. And what's going to happen is there's this side panel over here, My Analytics side panel, that opens up. This is available in OWA, but also in the desktop client. It's the same experience. And what we're doing is we're giving Megan a summary of tasks that Isaiah asked her to get done and that she promised Isaiah she would get done. It's just natural language processing, and it's just surfacing. So for example, Megan said she'd get him feedback on this white paper. She'd pass a report to their manager, Melanie. This is a great way for her to make sure that important tasks don't fall off the radar. Now, if I go back to the Home tab for My Analytics, we also have a whole bunch of other useful tips for Megan. So we help her track email from important people. So she flagged Henrietta and Isaiah as important. So imagine Henrietta and Isaiah are managing projects for her, but they require her approval on certain things. But she causes bottlenecks because she can't get to their unread email fast enough. She gets in the morning and she has 800 unread emails. With 2 clicks, she can get right to these people and knock that off her list and then move on with her day. We also make recommendations on other important people to add. So this is another machine learning intelligence component of the product. We use 18 data points to recommend people to add to your important contact list. So let's add Christy, who's one of Megan's managers. And then we can go back and see that Christy's email is now being tracked, just to give you guys an idea of how fast and easy that is to do. Next, we also help Megan track open rates for her emails. So let's say she's trying to prepare for launching her product in Germany. She has a meeting coming up. She wants to make sure people are actually prepared for it. So she sends out an email to 10 people who are going to attend this meeting. And she sees that only 50% of them have actually opened that email. And on top of that, only 30% have opened the attachment. So what would you guys do in this case? Would you hold the meeting when like only 3 out of 10 people have actually reviewed the documentation? You probably want to say that again?
Yes, I could roast them in the meeting.
You can also do that. So either roast your employees, or you could resend the email with like shorter copy, or delay the meeting if you have to. And the last thing we do is we prompt Megan to book focus time in advance. Again, this comes back to the idea of building healthy habits. Some of the most creative people, like in our human history, they weren't born geniuses. They're actually masters of habit and routine. So Maya Angelou, for example, would get up at 7 a.m. every morning and she blocked out 2 hours of time just for creative writing. So we want to encourage people to do the same thing. So if we see Megan's calendar filling up with meetings, we say, hey, what do you want to get done next week? She wants to review that white paper. We surface all the 2-hour blocks of free time. She chooses these 2, and then there you go. With a couple clicks, that time is now blocked on her calendar so that people don't fill it up with meetings. So that's the first part of My Analytics. So it's intelligent coaching within Outlook. We also have a dedicated dashboard. It's available within the app launcher. And this allows you to dive even deeper into how you spend your time and who you spend it with. So I'm going to give you guys, just because of time constraints, just like a really quick overview of, there's a whole lot going on here. So Megan opens this up. She's getting a summary of her time for the last week. She can go back in time to see other weeks. What it's showing her is breaking her time down into 4 different blocks. So meeting hours, this is all coming from Exchange Online, okay? So how much time she spent in meetings, how much time she spent sending emails, how much focus time she got, and how much time she spent working after hours. She can actually see, she can go back in time and see how this is shaped up week by week, going all the way back to March 1st, 2017. So one thing she sees is that her meeting time is going up, up, up until about 2 weeks ago. Coincidentally, she started using my analytics 2 weeks ago. And now she's doing much better. This teal line is going down. But it's a good way she could take this data to her manager and make the case for getting more resources on her team or delegating some tasks. She can also see who she spends her time with, including groups. So for those of you guys who, let's say, you work a lot with external partners, or you have a sales team and you want to make sure they're like spending most of their time meeting externally, not internally. You can track and make sure that actually they're not blocked in internal meetings, that they're actually focused on selling. We also give you like this network map that shows you who you spend your time with and what your relationship with them looks like. So Megan spends the most time with these 4 people towards the left of her chart. Let's say we want to click into Isaiah. We can see that her average response time is almost 5 hours. So for customer service teams that have SLAs around how fast they have to respond to people, it's an important metric to track. It's also important for managers to respond relatively quickly to their direct reports. Direct correlation between manager response time and employee satisfaction. Scrolling down, we get an idea of Megan's bad meeting habits. So actually, let me close that really quick. We can see that Megan multitasked 11 hours in her meetings last week. What that means is that she was reading and sending email in her meetings. It's pretty basic. We're going to be bringing Skype and Team Signals into this as well. And if she opens up view details, she can see specific meetings where she multitasked that were recurring, that were longer. Easy way to like get 4 or 5 hours back into her calendar. Just knock these off of her meeting list or give them to somebody else on her team, divide and conquer. Cool, so that's the My Analytics demo.
So is that pulling from, if you're doing your emails on your cell phone, it's still from the accounts?
Yes.
Asking.
Accounts, as long as it's going through Exchange Online, whether you're on desktop client, mobile, it'll all roll up into that dashboard. So quick start resources if you guys want to kind of take this take this product, trial it with a small team, or explain it to other people in your company, get them excited. Write down these 2 website addresses. These are public resources. The first is to explain what this product is to other people. And the second is it's an agenda for a team kickoff. So if you want to trial it with 5 or 10 people, it's available on E5 out of the box. Anything below that, it's an add-on, but you can buy a couple licenses and then just try it out with a small team, and these will help you get kicked off. So now let's move on to Workplace Analytics. So Workplace Analytics takes the same data, but you can see it at a company level. So you can diagnose challenges, like the same challenges that Megan was having. You can see, identify specific teams that are suffering the same challenges. So it's built into Office 365. It gives you insights from Office 365 collaboration data, email and calendar data. It's focused on having an impact on engagement and productivity, and it's all very secure. There's lots of privacy options for protecting your data. Here's a basic flow of how it works. We take native Office 365 data, we combine it with your org context. So we look at Azure Active Directory, how you have your team set up, and then we shape your data so that you can see like after hours, meeting hours on a team by team level. And then you can actually import data from other sources to find correlations between habits on specific teams and business outcomes. So these are just a couple of there are so many different solutions that this tool can be used for, just a couple that I'll address here. So collaboration overload is one of them. So collaboration overload refers to like spending way too much time in meetings and sending emails to people. You can identify that, which teams are suffering from that problem in the tool. Workspace planning is another one where you can see which teams are actually meeting with each other and then reconfigure your office plan to minimize travel time. There's also driving sales productivity, making sure sales teams are spending most of their time meeting externally rather than getting stuck in internal meetings. So let's do a quick demo. The demo is oriented around Brooke. This tool is most useful for analysts, let's say an HR analyst. And what Brooke sees is that the marketing team is starting to complain about low engagement, right? They're feeling kind of burnt out because they're stuck in meetings all the time. There's anecdotal evidence of collaboration overload, complaints about poor prioritization and delegation. So she wants to investigate these claims a little more detail. So let's go ahead and open up Workplace Analytics. This is what the tool looks like. So you have in your Home tab, you get a summary of what is tracked in the tool. So this fictional company, Contoso, has 1,300 employees that are measured. It counts almost 130,000 hours of collaboration. And now let's dive a little bit deeper. Let's do some exploration of that data. So let's say I want to look at the average for the past, you know what, I think I want to do the whole year, and we're going to group it by organization, but you could group these charts by a bunch of other attributes like region as an example, okay? And then I scroll down here and, you know, Brooke wants to focus on the marketing team. So this is showing their total collaboration hours. Let's click on marketing and see what we can find out, okay? So if I scroll to this chart on the right, what we can see is meeting hours, right? With marketing compared with the rest of the organization. And what we see here is that marketing collaboration hours, specifically meeting hours, spiked around March. And usually we find a direct correlation between meeting sprawl and low engagement and innovation. People start complaining when they're stuck in meetings all the time and can't do their actual work. It's pretty simple. And this shows a direct correlation between the two. If we scroll down a little bit, we can see how much time these different teams are working after hours. So let's again click into marketing. Oop. Okay, and we can also see again on this chart on the right that their after hours work is spiking. We can change it, toggle between email and meeting hours, but we see for both of these that not only is the team meeting a lot, to compensate for all those extra meetings, they're working a bunch after hours, and that's contributing to this sense of burnout. Then we can see external versus internal collaboration hours. This is most useful for, let's say, like a sales scenario. We can see here that the sales team is a little bit above average for internal only hours, and they're hovering between 10 and 15. And then if we look at external hours, it's actually much lower. Like, you don't want your sales team to be spending most of their time meaning internally. You want them to spend their time actually with customers. So this would be a bad sign for a sales organization. Another thing that you can do with this tool, if you're an analyst, you want to combine this with other data, what you can do is run targeted queries. So let's say I want to create a query where I focus on, you know, let's look at the marketing team, but I want to hone in even more and look at geography. So let's look at region, where region is central. And we can add as many filters as we want. And if I run that query, I'll be able to export that and then, it'll generate a file that then I can mash up with other data, let's say from Workday, SAP. You can even bring it into Power BI and see if there are correlations with business outcomes. So that wraps up the workplace analytics demo. So just really quickly in the last couple of minutes, I want to give you guys an idea of how customers are using these two tools in combination. So we're releasing this case study from Macy's. So Macy's, I think everybody here is familiar with Macy's. Their industry is undergoing a significant degree of transformation right now. They're under a lot of pressure to attract and retain the best talent, given all of the competition that's coming from the e-commerce space. So their goal, basically what they did is they ran some internal surveys, and they found that people were suffering from burnout. Certain teams were complaining of really low engagement. They just didn't like their jobs, and low levels of innovation. So they wanted to reverse some of those trends. And as we go through this, here's kind of how they used integrated analytics. They diagnosed issues using workplace analytics. They implemented change at a team and individual level with My Analytics. And then they measured results using workplace. So workplace analytics help them diagnose. So they had these surveys, but they wanted to figure out what habits were driving low innovation and engagement. They found that there was a direct correlation. Those specific teams had meeting sprawl, minimal focus time, poor work-life balance, lots of after-hours work, and then they didn't really respect each other's schedules. They would email each other after hours. They would put long meetings on each other's calendars. So what they did is they put together a change management program supported by My Analytics. They got 600 employees from 12 teams, held 6 working sessions across 12 weeks. They diagnosed at an individual and team level. The teams got together, flipped around their My Analytics dashboards and said, like, hey, here's where I think we're having trouble. And then they implemented new working norms. For example, we're only going to schedule 30-minute meetings. We're going to come with an agenda prepared for each meeting. We're only going to work after hours on urgent issues, so we don't burden people and make them feel like they have to work after hours. And here are the results. So meeting hours went down by up to 4 hours per week, focus hours up by up to 4 hours per week. After hours work maintained or decreased in spite increased burdens on these teams. And they reduced organizational load by 50%. Organizational load just refers to the amount of meetings that you're putting on other people's calendars. And here's just some anecdotal evidence of, this is not just about cost savings or cutting meeting time. It's also about kind of a mindset shift. So some of the key words that came out of these working sessions: deliberate, purposeful. I discovered things about these people have become more conscientious about how they spend their time. It's a complete shift in mindset. When you put people in control of their schedule, you go from a victimhood culture to more of like an ownership culture. So if you guys want to dive deeper into my analytics, there's one last session. We've kind of wrapped up all the other ones, but I'm also here, so feel free to come say hi afterwards. But thank you guys so much for your time. Appreciate it.